Are you struggling to pay your bills every month? Do you have a small business, but you feel that no matter how hard you work, you are not able to continuously bring in revenue and get clients or make money from what you know? Well, everything that you do as a service can be multiplied and created into digital assets that pay you over and over. And when you are able to create methodologies and frameworks based on your life experience, then you are going to be able to interconnect those to practical offers that you create for the market. And business owners also use these digital tools to create communities, digital products, one-on-one calls, books, and assets. So, how do we shift into using them without changing who we are? First, if you don't have a business, you want to find a painful problem that you can solve, and that is what the Founder Signal Engine does. You can find it at foundersignalengine.com. It's the best $7 that you are going to spend today. When it comes to making money, we've learned that there are different ways to make money. There's done with you, done for you, DDIY, meaning you give blueprints and maps for people so they can do it themselves, and DIY so they watch you on platforms or in communities and then they are able to perform the task themselves. But the task itself is only one part of the equation. The thinking is another part, and I have been realizing that the thinking is the entire strategy. The way you think becomes how you operate, and how you operate becomes the type of task that you perform and the type of people that you decide to work with. For a while, I didn't want my heart as open because I was too expanded and I wasn't focused on what is going to make me money today. And then I realized that the compounding nature of YouTube in general is what is going to make me money tomorrow and the next day and the day after that. So I have to have myself be open enough to be able to speak on YouTube. And while it is hard for some people, if you detach from it and become very neutral and you just look at the data, how am I performing this day? How am I performing that day? Where am I communicating? How am I communicating? Is it making sense to my audience? And am I taking them somewhere? Because every single time that I posted on Instagram from an old identity or posted on Instagram from a new identity, I'm pulled by the people around me. But on YouTube, you are not pulled as easily by the people around you. It's easier to stay in the frame of who you are and continue a thought for longer. Not saying the other platforms are bad, this is just what I have experienced. So, if we are going to take people with us, the easiest strategy that I have learned that works is YouTube to school because they are searching for you on YouTube because they have a problem that you can solve. And instead of feeling that they are searching for your identity, you are feeling that they are searching for the solution to the problem that they have. And if they are already connected to your identity and you're in alignment and congruent on all the platforms, then it makes even more sense for people to trust you, follow you, and want to act. When it comes to selling, overwhelming people with bigger architecture is something that they do not have time to integrate unless they are at the financial level where they have the time to learn from you. But what I have found is that when you build the bigger architecture for you, the source system, the layer, the codes, almost like computer software, Apple does not sell Apple source code. They sell the phone. So we can look at it building like that, that containing our energy into something, our frameworks into something, our book, our moat, that is what is protected. And then what we sell is something different. Using the strategies of done with you, done for you, or DIY. From here, how do we get past the level of leaving the job that we're at where we are not making money and we have already experienced what it feels like to get paid from Stripe in 5 days, 2 or 3 times now. Maybe you get paid from Stripe every day and this is a normal reality for you. But for people that are not there yet, selling one thing for money that solves a problem, whether that's a website, a GPT, a workshop, something connected to you, and you get paid through Stripe, you're going to feel the reality of what it feels like to get paid away from a paycheck. Last week, I heard the phrase, I don't argue with who signs my paycheck. Well, how about sticking up for the person that signs your paycheck and they didn't even say thank you? How about feeling like you have experienced so much trauma that you went backwards because you learned, well, it doesn't matter where I am, I need time. So I'm grateful for the places and the jobs that I've worked in that have given me time. But you have to take the data that not everyone has the capacity to hold you. So you have to hold yourself. And what this means is choosing to operate differently based on the time that you have and using that time to create artifacts, assets, things that are going to work for you overnight. And that is what we are doing. I might not have known how to sell as easily, but I know how to perform services because I have been in service work my whole life and giving kind of became a safety mechanism when I did not feel safe. But that's a different layer. I had to learn boundaries and constraints and protocols and leaving rooms that I was in and what different things were doing to my body so I could understand how to communicate, how to teach, how to show up on YouTube. And surprisingly, it's very easy when you do not judge yourself so much. You just track the data because you are the one that is tracking the data in your life. You are the one that has the notebook. You are the one that has the notepad in your phone, the Google Docs, the school community. You are the one tracking the data. So nobody else around you or outside of you can do that for you. And if something that you did is not being rewarded, stop doing it. Or if you know you don't need validation for what you did because you had the data, that's all you need. You don't need anything outside of you to tell you. But performer programming will make you think that you need validation. Performer programming, being on platforms for years where you get likes and comments, will make you think that you're doing something wrong when you go down a different path. But think about it this way. Perhaps you are just not being heard or being able to be received by people. I commented on a post yesterday and I said nice because someone had clearly risen to a higher level role and they were very grateful to be there and I recognized that. And then another person said, "Why are you using AI?" It's 3 years, it's almost at this point, like 3, 4 years later, people are doing so many incredible things with AI, but there are still these people that are against it. So you have to stay away from those people. You have to let them evolve and have their own belief systems. We can't, it's the same pattern. So common enemy. We have a common enemy in business because it creates polarity and we are able to trigger people. Okay. But are you able to pay your bills with having a common enemy? Are you giving your energy to that thing when you could be giving your energy to something else? And then once you do that, you see through it and you see through the deeper message of what is being communicated because no matter what paintbrush you use, no matter what tool you use, there's a deeper layer that is trying to be communicated. There is suffering there that is trying to be communicated. The person is saying, I have enough money to survive and I'm grateful to be in this place now. That is the deeper message that is being communicated while you are judging the external. So, this is the level of getting to understanding past the aesthetics, past the performer consciousness, and into the architect thinking where we can identify structure and patterns and frameworks and things that are going to help us grow and help other people grow as well. Because you can have fans, you can have friends, you can have people that have been in your life for over a decade, but they don't speak the same language as you. And if you want to speak a new language, if you want to get into a new room, you have to do it so fiercely and so confidently that you start attracting people that you did not even know existed in the world. And these platforms, they condition us to think by design that we have to help the people in the proximity bubble. But that is not true. We already know that we can change our thoughts, change our thinking, start communicating to a new person on the screen, and they will find us based off of the keywords that we use, what we are communicating, how the algorithms are talking to each other, how AI is talking to things. So, really, at the end of the day, the only person that needs to become clear is you. And how do we become clear? We already know that in the future and even now, being indexed by AI, meaning being found by AI, means that we are operating on a higher timeline. We are operating above the noise. We have clarity. We have clarity in who we are, what we're bringing to the table, the assets and the artifacts that we are creating for other people to come in and learn from us. That is repeated. And that's what creates clarity. I created so many operators. I created all of these operators and then I have them in one layer, and then in another layer, I created the source system. And inside the source system, I made sure to be fully integrated while creating it. I made sure to, no matter how much pain I was going through, like find the lesson in the pain and then use the creative energy, add photos, add videos, make it mine, anchor it somehow. And that's how I learned the anchor. Mirror, meaning mirror, anchor, map is a framework I have. So, mirror, when people are mirroring you, whether in art and performance or online, it's unconscious, but sometimes it's conscious, and you have to be careful because you can mirror back without anchoring. You want to anchor in who you are, and your values lead the system. So if you want to change who you are, you have to change your values. I don't value that anymore. I value this because this is going to help me get here, and I can respect people over there, but this is where I'm at now. So you anchor in your values. And when somebody says, "Oh, I miss when you used to do the fire. I miss when you were this way." What do you miss? Me almost dying in a car accident by somebody that did the fire with me. What do you miss? Being ghosted by people. What do you miss? Me giving my energy away for free for a decade for your entertainment. Is that what you miss? And I'm sorry to go dark here, but this is what happens when we are spreading light and we do not have an anchor, we do not have structure for monetization, and we are attacking the government or capitalism or whatever else that is a common enemy like AI, because that is the loop that you can't see. This is loop architecture. You cannot see that you are attacking the common enemy, that you are deciding is this thing one day, is that thing another day, instead of taking accountability and realizing I'm working at Taco Bell and I have no money, but I'm focused on getting a photo shoot for the internet where I do not get paid. Flip that Taco Bell is not where you make money. Taco Bell is a place you very frequently eat at. Taco Bell is a place where you donate. It is a place where you may be there temporarily, but you are not there anymore. When you are getting a photo shoot, when you are getting a gig, when you are getting something that is to be put out online, your creative signal that is worth thousands of dollars, you are now going to reprogram that and say, now with this photo shoot, I know how to teach a workshop in how to build creative photo shoots. It's $97 and you can enter. I'm going to launch it in a weekend. That is power. That is power. Not, I'm working a $15 an hour job. I have no money and I need to attack all of these things, but I'm going to continue to complain for the aesthetics of how my suffering is now a story. No, no. Energetically, the biggest power that you have is your energy, and that does not need to be this thing that is separate from money. It is very much connected to money. So your energy is your power. And I know it sounds delusional, but it's crazy to me how you can get paid from Stripe in 5 days' time when you are clearly and consistently aligned with your thoughts and the problem that you are solving and how you can help people. And slowly but surely, those things that you were afraid of, building a business, starting to become more aligned, are natural next steps in the progression of how you are already operating. And I'm not here to change your belief systems. I'm just here to help you see what you cannot see as somebody who was operating that way for a very, very, very long time. You don't need to dance for the algorithm. You are dancing for alignment and truth and consciousness and clarity and channeling and awareness. We already know that. But your gifts can be packaged and monetized, and what you think is not worth money is the thing that is worth money. Teaching somebody how to have photo shoots faster, teaching somebody how to get out of their comfort zone and network so they can create photo shoots and build their presence online, build their creative presence online, teaching people how to communicate on camera, teaching people how to align their chakras, teaching people how to use digital tools. Everything that you do that you don't think is performance is architecting. Everything that you do that is the part of you that sounds a little bit boring because you already know how to do it. You've mastered it. You've learned, oh, when I do this, I should do that. Like that's intuition. That's learning, oh, I should show up a half hour ahead of time for this because this is what's going to happen. That's a workshop. That's an hour to 2 hour long workshop that now you're doing to give people value that can save them time. And if it's connected to you, then suddenly it's like you and your imagination are the only components that you need to figure out how to make money. Because we have these digital tools now. We have AI. Yes, I said AI. What AI is a translation layer for your thoughts. So you are able to see your thoughts outside of you, understand what is happening. It is a mirror, just like you have mirrors in real life. But when you are able to anchor to the mirror and understand, I don't need to take this as truth and understand my values lead the system and understand I need protocols, boundaries, constraints, then you can start to map where you are going. And the operator that I just released on YouTube that I was told is level 12 and we need to release level 1, but I build backwards, so we're releasing level 12 for the people that are ready for it. It's going to help you understand what this means. It's going to help you understand how to create a methodology, how to name things in your reality, how to move from A to Z when you're naturally Z to A. Okay? Because all of these things can be named and claimed. Stop complaining and start proclaiming because your words are powerful. How I made $1,000 in a day, how I survived my first festival, how I started speaking on stages when I was quiet and alone for years. The very thing that you're afraid of is the very thing that you need to integrate, and the thing that you need to integrate is the thing that you're afraid of. So it's going to be a constant battle of fear. But it's a lot easier to integrate when you have flow. I'll say it, the word flow. Heart connection. Source connection, meaning that small part of you, the intuition, however you connect to it, that small part of you, the intuition, is your guidance system. So it's going to show up based on where you're hanging out the most. And here's the nuance. Your intuition can also repeat things that you don't want to be repeated if you are not creating new visuals, new rooms, new offers, new structure, new paths. So I want to help you think about it from a buyer's lens today. We're going to go in to my signal to system course that I've created, and we're going to start thinking about the buyer. What does the buyer think about when they're interacting with us? And how do we need to shift our thinking in order to remember that? Okay, so we're going to move to founder frame signal to income. And I'm a very straightforward person. Yes, I have taken things to help me hyper focus and stop expanding because my signal loves to just expand, expand, expand. But when it comes to taking care of clients, you cannot expand. When it comes to setting timelines and goals, you cannot expand. So I have had to figure out a way to work with my doctor and me to come to temporary solutions to figure out a way to make money. And what I learned about YouTube is you can show up every single day. And when you show up a year from now, people are naturally going to understand you. They're going to kind of understand where you're coming from. Some people might not like you, but you have created signal clarity. You've created signal clarity, meaning you have put content out there and people can now understand you because most people that have too much time, what they do is they research. Or people that are struggling. Like I have been that person that is struggling. So I research people that I feel safe to learn from, and those people are the people that I end up learning from. And sometimes the people that I end up learning from, yes, I do find them on Instagram and they have triggered me and I've decided to buy their course, but it's usually because something about their story was so enticing and they repeated it so many times that I knew in my head, I am the luckiest person in the world to learn from this person right now. And that is how we want to make people feel because the right person will automatically feel that. So, what does AI not have? Feelings. It doesn't have the feeling layer, but it's going to mirror the way you feel. So, it's interesting how they're connected. So, if you want to evolve faster and you want your thinking to change, well, understanding how you learn your body, those types of things are going to come before the tools. The tools are going to be amplifiers for whatever state that you're operating in, and they can help you and expand you, or they can block you and confuse you. This is just my theory, my thesis, and we're going to see where this goes. But so far, what has been happening as they have been changing states and understanding different things, recursive learning has been happening. So I'm also deeply confused and concerned about using other people's bots. I created the framework called, I forget what it's called. Telepathic conduit system. So we have these new systems where we are speaking with other people's trained bots connected to their values. Telepathic conduit systems. And then what happens is the content that starts to be shown is connected to our signal, our RAC, RAS system, reticular activating system. So we don't want to feed other people's bots with our like I'm wondering if like do we want to feed other people's bots with our core ideas or like that haven't been shipped? That is something that I'm deeply researching right now. But I can say that I have used other people's bots that are trained on their values that can help people with a particular problem. And those are the things that have helped me make money because I have direct access to something that remembers what I did yesterday, that is connected to the value system that I'm aligned with, that knows that I need to integrate how to be more direct and ask people for money. And once I integrate that, we can get to a different level and we can let go of it. So it's really just about bringing something to the table that is going to help the other person. Signal to income is where I hosted all of the trained operators that I had been building that were a combination of PLR prompts mixed with GBTs that I created. So it's going to be released in layers. You don't need to access all of it. However, I am opening founder access to some people for 222. I had this not opening communities phase where I wasn't opening communities. And guess what happened? I wasn't able to get feedback. So, how do you know if something is worth $10,000 or more? Or how do you know if something is worth $5,000? You need to get feedback from people. You need to see if you can actually help one person. When I was building websites, I did two for free, then 150, then 300, then 997. Why? Because I wanted to see if I could create a progression and build a little bit more challenging of a site as I raised my price. And as I raised my price, I had a more challenging build. So, yes, that did happen. Most people are never shown how everything connects. So, they take a program and they struggle because we've never had this opportunity before where we have these interactive learning systems that can talk back to us. We watch modules, we learn frameworks, we take courses. But now we are in this new world where we have AI bots. And I'm not saying you should talk to AI all day, but I am saying that when you spend time organizing the layers, you can take those layers and you can put them into one system. And that is the goal. That is what we are learning how to do, creating apps, creating one higher level bot, creating something that will allow us to launch simply. Like I said in the beginning, Apple does not sell the source code, they sell the phone. Okay, so this is what the course is about, and inside I broke it into layers. It's an operating system for founders, and you're going to be able to go down a pathway. The pathway is calibration to direction to offer to systems to visibility to revenue to ecosystem. So this is the bigger operating system where I have been hosting my bots. And the thing is, clarity is a deeper level. There's always deeper levels of clarity, and you will not find my deepest levels of clarity inside this operating system. They're going to be separate in the source system. This one is for people that want to execute and build. This is for builders. And the other ones that I created are more thought architects for writing books and building software, which is where we are headed. So inside, this is getting out of short form loops and it's getting on YouTube and it's starting to sell and it's using the tools connectively. So we're going to go into the school now and pause for just a second. Okay, so what I am really interested in today is to go into the YouTube signal building course and also go into learning to speak from the buyer's lens. Okay, so the buyer's lens. This is what we are going to do. How your videos make you money. The tools inside this course, and every single one of these courses can become a mini course. So when you're creating inside a container that is contained and you're able to add a bunch of things, you can create mini courses off of what is inside. And you can have walkthrough videos explaining and understanding, teaching people what it is. This is something that I learned. So when I created the source system, all of my videos were more thought architecture, teaching people frameworks. Like then I got to signal to income and started to understand teaching people how to make money and how to do things step by step is actually more practical and it's going to make me money faster. And I can keep the higher level frameworks, the books on the back end for people to buy as a part of me connect to my signals. So that's where we're at. And it's been a year that I've been trying to launch this. I'm not very good at sequencing, but I was very good at containing my energy, containing my thinking, continuing to add to it. And then I realized that it's really important to ship because once you ship, you create these little artifacts for people to find and they start to operate differently, even if they never come inside the course. So the high level workflow, how your videos make money. So when somebody buys from you and they're going and finding you on YouTube, they're going to see your thumbnail first. They're going to see your thumbnail, then they're going to listen to your opening, structure, retention, and conversion. So from the buyer's lens, they're going to see your content like a customer. You're going to connect your videos to offers to money, and you're going to understand what your video should really say, and you're going to understand how to keep people engaged. And you're going to want to learn how your content is going to keep paying you over time. And you're going to want to know what video to make next. And the whole section here is how do I turn my thinking into money? So from the buyer's lens, we have what matters. Our attention is being grabbed. What operator? We have the opening saying this is for me or this is not for me. The structure, I understand this. The retention, this is worth continuing. And the conversion, I want to act on this. So I've created all of these bots based off of information that I integrated that I didn't have that I wanted to learn. And I created the visual signal strategist, the video signal builder, the video structure builder, the retention strategist, and the conversion operator. And now I want to figure out how I can combine these all together into maybe an agent. Okay, an agent. So the brain is the back end that you create into the bots. And then the agent, from what I'm understanding, is what's going to be executing. The buyer lens, what they experience, the builder lens, how you create that experience. So how are we creating the experience for viewers on YouTube? We're designing the entry point We're creating the hook, we're organizing the message, we're maintaining engagement, and we're guiding action. This is why data is so powerful and reps are so powerful because you can understand, wait a second, I don't have a strong hook here. I'm literally talking about my trauma. That happens for a lot of people, but a strong hook would be you're sitting there making $1,000 every 2 weeks when you could be making it in a day. That's a strong hook. And that is a real reality for a lot of people because they're making $1,000 maybe once a week or every 2 weeks, but they could be making it in a day if they had a $997 offer and clients coming in, or if they had offers that allowed them to get leads to build that consistently every day. This is the way we were thinking, but now we're flipping it and we are thinking, why would our audience want to come in and learn from us and pay that kind of money? Proof. We're going to stack proof and we're going to compound by giving value on YouTube, taking people into a paid container. Thumbnail designs the entry. So when you're scrolling on YouTube, you're not saying, oh my gosh, that person's using AI. I can't believe they're using AI for their thumbnails. You're thinking, you're detaching from that and you're thinking, does this apply to me? Do I need this? Does this apply to me where I'm at right now at this particular moment in time? And if not, you're going to let it go most of the time. Opening, we're going to create a hook. Structure, we're organizing content. Retention, we're maintaining flow. And conversion, we're guiding action. So this is going to be really cool. I'm going to build in public with you, and I'm learning, and you're learning at the same time. So the content to revenue stack is a system for turning your content into a revenue channel. Yes, YouTube can replace your job. It can become a revenue channel. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but it can be an asset to what you are already doing. Say you have a job, say you have a business, or say you're a performer. It can be an asset to what you're already doing. It's going to create this revenue stack because I don't know about you, but the entire world needs money. Everybody needs money to survive. It is not something that is only for an elite group of people. Money is something that we all have the opportunity to make now. And maybe the marketing, the flyers, what you saw online was so unattractive to you because you have been a creative being your entire life. But just think about how much better you can do those things and how you can help other people do those things better, and that's going to create a shift. I'm not saying use AI for everything, but I'm saying that when you are able to stop prompting for a second, create a trained operator intentionally. From that trained operator, start thinking and moving differently. Take the actions that you would not have taken before because now you have a mirror, a map, or mirror and anchor and a map to move differently. Knowing that what is inside you can be monetized and it will be monetized and it is being monetized. You're either hypnotizing people or teaching them or both. There's different levels of monetization. I say hypnotizing because I have this like framework that I kind of want to talk about. I don't even know if I can find it. Let me try for a second. Okay, so I found it. So this is I want to share this with you. And yes, I will be releasing the source system so you can be part of it, but I want to share this with you. Using visibility with value. The problem is algorithmic hypnosis is the subconscious conditioning that happens when your thoughts, desires, and perceptions are shaped by repetition, polish, and platform design. The more you see something, the more the brain believes it must be true. This is heuristic programming, and the algorithm rewards repetition. Authority signals equal false trust. High production plus numbers equals automatic credibility. Your brain thinks they must know something I don't. Just because someone has a big following doesn't mean they have a high trust factor. Trend encoding equals identity hijacking. Subtle trends train you to use hooks, cadences, music, colors, and even expressions to trigger unconscious responses. The sense of urgency creates a nervous system override. These aren't just marketing tactics, they're nervous system activators designed to bypass your discernment. It's mind architecture. They use algorithmic hypnosis to manufacture credibility without mastery, create artificial urgency and low value offers, keep people in a cycle of consuming content instead of creating systems, and build parasitic influence where people depend on the content just to feel clear. How you are different is you're not here to use content to hypnotize, you're here to use content to dehypnotize. You can exit the trance so you can think clearly, build sovereignty, and reclaim your voice. Naming breaks the illusion. Once you've identified the trap, now you can exit it. You're going to learn how to anchor your original signal and build systems that protect it. Okay, so that is from the source system. And this is, let me go back. This is signal to income, so I have two layers here. Signal to income is for builders, the source system is for thinkers, but they are connected. So the video structure architect is going to take your idea and turn it into a structured script and organize the sections, create the flow, write the content. What do I say and how do I structure it? Say it clearly and completely. Outline the full script and transitions build the explanation. The visual signal strategist, the role is to click. The opening signal builder, the role is to hook. The structure, video structure builder is to outline, and the video structure architect is the full script. So what I like about YouTube is we're using similar methods to teach and to sell, but we're not falling into these patterns of like hypnotizing other people or trying to find these hacks that work. I don't know. I'm trying to put all of these layers together, so just forgive me, give me time. So the video structure architect, let's talk to this one for a second because I want to see if they can help us structure our videos on YouTube so we can make money separate from the maze filled with mirrors and unconscious mimicry. So to turn your idea into a structured video script, I need the core idea. What is the topic or core idea? Choose one or type your own educational content. So the video structure architect is giving us a baseline. So I'm not saying that it's perfect and that you should follow it word for word, but it is giving us a base to talk on YouTube. And let's start here. So we're going to go here. Most creators think YouTube is the business, but it's not. Okay. YouTube is the engine that brings attention, but by itself, it doesn't create long-term wealth. Okay, so we know this. The real opportunity is using that attention to build assets that create value long after the video is published. If you're an expert with valuable knowledge, here's how to build a business that compounds over time instead of constantly chasing your next upload. Stop thinking like a creator and start thinking like an architect. When most people start on YouTube, their goal is simple: get more views, more subscribers, but views are temporary. A great video performs for a while and then eventually slows down. The creator who builds lasting businesses uses YouTube differently. They see every video as an entry point into an ecosystem. Instead of asking, how do I make my video go viral? You ask, how does this video strengthen everything that I'm building? And that shift changes everything. Build assets that compound. Every video should point towards something with a longer lifespan. A course allows you to teach a complete transformation instead of a single lesson. A digital product solves a specific problem that they repeatedly face. A book organizes your ideas into a framework that builds authority and trust. Those are not separate businesses, they're connected. Each video introduces your thinking, your products deepen the experience, and your audience grows, your library grows, and every new piece of content increases the value of everything that you've already created. And that is called compounding. Design a content ecosystem. Instead of creating random videos, create content around recurring problems your audience wants solved, hence solve cell pain, not vitamins. These videos naturally group into themes. Those themes become modules, and those modules become courses, and the frameworks you develop become books. The templates and tools you create become digital products. You're no longer creating content just to stay relevant, you're building intellectual property that works together as a complete system. The goal isn't to become somebody who uploads forever. The goal is to build an ecosystem where every video strengthens a collection of assets that continue generating impact and income. YouTube creates attention, your courses create transformation, your digital products create implementation, and your books create authority. When those pieces work together, you're no longer building content, you're building a business that compounds. If you're ready to turn your expertise into a complete ecosystem of content, courses, digital products, and books, join my course. I'll show you how to design a business where every piece of content builds on the last, creating momentum that grows over time instead of starting from zero with every upload. I don't know about you, but I think that that was pretty good, and that actually is what I was wanting to do with the source system. So that makes sense. Let's see what else it's going to do here. So the hook, as we're seeing, the hook here, a lot of people that are not skilled at building with hooks need to tie their hook to the outcome or the problem that they are solving, not tie it to the trauma that they have experienced that they've overcome. Tie it to the problem that you're solving because there is so much information online and people do not have the time. Your story is powerful, and yes, you should share your story, but don't make it part of your every single day because be it's going to be part of the future if we don't change it now. So your hook is the engine. It's like it's connected to YouTube, which is the engine. It's going to create everything else. So we don't want to get trapped here. So, as flywheel has become kind of like shorthand in the creator economy, we're going to try to use a different word here. Maybe we can use the word knowledge architecture. I like that one because essentially that's what we're doing. We're positioning around compounding and leaning into metaphors that feel more original and ownable. So, most experts create content, architects build systems. YouTube is the front door, courses are the classrooms, books are the library, digital products are the tools, and newsletter is the hallway that connects everything. Every new asset strengthens the entire structure, and this is the framework that you can own. The knowledge economy stack, like a software stack, attention, trust, frameworks, products, business, very logical. This appeals to analytical founders. The compound knowledge machine, every asset feeds the other asset. So this is taking some of the frameworks I've used already and it's helping create ideas based off of the information that I gave it in the beginning. And let's just look again what the video structure architect is doing. It's helping you create a script for YouTube based off the idea that you're implementing into it. So, and it's going to build off of it. So what we are doing is more of iterative refinement, sharing some characteristics with recursive learning like creating on YouTube. That's why they felt similar. And then creating compounding architecture through courses, digital products, and books. That's a concept. We organize it into a cohesive narrative with a beginning, middle, and end. Abstraction. We noticed the script wasn't really about YouTube. It was about building a business from expertise. We identify recurring themes and framework creation. So all of my bots pull things out of you that can be used to create structure. Yeah, this is my category business architecture for entrepreneurs. So because I'm working with it, it didn't come up with the category. Your values lead the system. So I already had been developing like business thought architecture as my next level. So it's already starting to work with me from observation to content ecosystem. We don't want to stop at idea to content. So this is what I kind of talk about, like, because if you don't have a place to contain your thinking, you're going to have an idea and create content, and that is the most exhausting loop to be in. It is a lot easier to get to a place where you have an open channel so you can create content when you're ready and multiply it to take people to the same place. So we're building intellectual property, not just content. And yes, most people are still using AI as Google, but I think it's because they're unconsciously adapting to the tribe or they're not thinking from themselves because they're connected to maybe hundreds or thousands of people that are thinking a certain way. So it makes it harder and almost more like vulnerable to think differently to actually use it because you're not really sure who to listen to. So when you find these people like on YouTube that are showing you how to use it, and hopefully I could be that person for you, then you're able to understand like what it can do instead of just looking at AI like, oh, AI creates these ugly flyers. Like that's not what the power of AI is. It's the power of us being able to have access to information and to be able to evolve faster. That is the power. So it's telling me now, based off of what I said in my last video, instead of recursive learning, which is close, I think what we're doing here is recursive synthesis. So learning is taking in information, synthesis is combining information into something new. Every iteration isn't just refining the answer, it's revealing a higher order abstraction. So create the YouTube videos, produce content, design a compounding knowledge business, think like an architect. Each level explains the one below it. That's the hallmark of synthesis. So a new method that we just created today. So whenever something like this happens, we're going to go to want, I go to Canva and I anchor it. So I want to remember this moment, the recursive synthesis method. Ah, so let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, so see how fast here we could anchor something and then go to pixels. We're kind of done with the moons. We're now gonna do some stars. So let's just find some stars. How about this one? This one. Okay. We're going to. Sorry, it's my clients. Don't look at me. Okay, so yeah, there we go. Cool. So, so this can go, guess where it can go? It can go here if we want to go back to beacons and create it as a product, or we can anchor it inside the source system. We'll probably do both. So this is what I've been doing recently. It's kind of anchoring it in here. Okay, so the recursive synthesis method turns ideas into intellectual property through structured conversations with AI. That could be an offer. It could be a method. It could also be an offer. We can anchor it, whatever. Here, the recursive synthesis method. Okay, so this is beacons and we can anchor it. Maybe go here. This is bigger than writing content. Yes, we know. So how can I sell this method as an offer? Do we want to sell the method as an offer? I don't really know if we do. I could be backwards here. We're going to find out what it says. Also, I just want to say close your tabs. Like if you already got the message, close your tabs. You don't need to keep them open. Okay, so now it's saying this could be like a 6-week course. And then, yeah, it was quoting $500, which I already knew. So we could create, look at what we just did off of one tool. We can create a whole program based off of problems that we can solve. It's saying that this could be a $750 to $2,500 program. Possible upsell like $3,000 to $15,000 or more based on depth and client type. Turn parts into prompt library, AI conversion guides, certificate or facilitator training. I would begin with a done with you beta cohort, not a self-paced course. So the signature framework lab, a 4-week guided experience for experts who want to turn their knowledge into proprietary framework and then connected content and product ecosystem. Participants leave with one core idea, a differentiated point of view, a name framework, a structured methodology, 12 to 20 content ideas, one course or digital product concept, a map showing how their assets connect. This gives you direct access to the problems people face while using the method. Use observations. Those observations will improve the eventual course. Do not lead with prompts, lead with thinking. Learn how to use structured AI conversations to extract, refine, and organize your expertise into original intellectual property that's more tangible and easier to buy than recursive learning synthesis. Okay, so this is now something that so we could say it is called, what did we say it was called again? So if you're not familiar with school, this is what it looks like. And I created this one called Signal to Structure, and I think I might actually change it to this. Ugh, this is the problem with overexpanding. You start things and you don't finish. So, okay, so yeah, so we're gonna save this, the first version that I would sell because like I already know that I created this method, so we can create, how about this one? The Signature Framework Lab. I already kind of created this one. Okay, so let's just go here. Let's just say that it's here. They get access to this program here. Ah, so no, it might need to be a brand new school. So When you create a new community, it looks like this, and then you choose hobby or pro. If you choose year, you get 2 months free. I don't want to keep creating schools because I don't have money to keep like doing that. So we're going to figure out how to sell this, but it can be 500 to 1500 depending on access and support, maybe 8 to 15 people. By the end of 4 weeks, you'll have a named signature framework. Okay, it says use Circle when you need deeper branding, more flexible spaces, workflows. Use Kajabi when the business becomes more focused on evergreen courses, funnels, email automation, websites, and broader. For validating this method, start on school, run it, and let the first cohort help you refine the intellectual property. So it could go into, I have another one I think that we can use, the ownership shift. I never used this one, so we could just rename this to this one. We could get rid of this. We can rename it so it doesn't take long, but we would have to figure out, oops, sorry guys. Signature Framework Lab, and then I want to just remind you that this is only one of the bots that we're working with right now. So I'm going to, let's see, if I should like give you access to the bot. I'm trying to figure it out. I want to keep people inside a container so there's not just bots floating everywhere. I think it's really important that I bring people along inside a container because how are you going to know that you can actually sell something if you don't, you know? So we're going to go back to this page. Settings. Not that one. We're going to upload it here. So it's not a video, it's a photo. Okay. So I'm just going to literally go through all of these steps. I also would use Dadin to create the video or Zoom. So it doesn't fit. We're going to need to fix it. So annoying. All right, so now we know that it's not going to live inside beacons, but this could be, hmm, yeah, so we already know it's not going to live in there, but this is where it would live if we created like a little digital product to launch. But if it's going to be inside school, it's bigger and it needs to live somewhere where it can be understood more easily. Sometimes the best is to just take a video of yourself talking because it takes a lot of time for AI to like create these. Okay, so the signature framework lab, we changed it. So now we want to create. That's beautiful. They just like got the name wrong, so you got to make sure that you know the correct prompts to give it so you're not wasting time. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Um, I really like this. Last, we have to create one this size, and it'll tell us the size. It's 128 times 128. And then we'll be done with that part. whatever. So the icon doesn't have to be so. So now we want it to match. So what I actually realized, and this is kind of cool, when you create something in Canva and then you use that as a guide for AI, it's actually faster than trying to prompt it. So that connects to my um, translation of systems framework. So if you are constantly using AI, you can actually start with Canva. So the ownership, you can see that I was in here. Okay, creative revenue mapping, for example, here's one. So if I was to take this one and put it into AI, I'm going to be almost 100% certain that it's going to have a map for how to make it look even better. So that's something cool that you can realize that it acts like a translation layer, you know. So go here. I have the meeting soon, but I want to get this done because I want to invite you into it pretty soon. So now we're starting to understand how to build implementable, like taking people with us offers connected to the source system where we are able to build these frameworks, meaning turning pain into power, understanding. And I've just been building in public and showing you all of the layers of how I operate so you can understand how to do it yourself too. So there we go. And then create description for the offer. I would say this is more of like inside when they're in it, you know, they download this. So we go inside. We're going to get rid of these because we don't need them anymore. We're going to get rid of all of these things that we had before that we never launched. A lot of people, yes, they can build things and never launch them. It is possible. We don't want to repeat the conversation. We want to add to it. So that's what this course is going to do. It's going to add to the conversation. And so over here, we're going to find a way to make it simple. Okay. So this is the welcome module. You could keep it very simple. We're going to go back for the welcome module. Keep it very simple and they come in. We're going to share this file, welcome. And once you are able to understand how to get into a rhythm, you can make things more and more simple. Ah, shit. So we don't want this bottom part. Okay, so we're joining, um, we're creating it to, excuse me, language, create, bring architects inside. We're bringing architects inside, framework architects, people that want to create frameworks, that do want to know, what does this mean? Welcome to the lab. And then we could just make a video here. It doesn't have to be really complicated. And then we can kind of create these. So this is the fun part, and everybody likes to have fun. So this is what I mean by containment and anchoring. So now what's happening is we just used one GBT, just one, because our goal was to get on YouTube, create structure, learn how to sell something to help people. Like we want to make money and we want to bring them into a container. So this is one. Welcome. Let's begin your transformation. This is amazing so far. So we're going to, check my phone. It's vibrating in my pocket. This is going to be a really long YouTube video, but this is what's going to happen. So we need to get to a level where we can take people with us and create structure. Yes, exactly. This was the problem that we are now solving. Okay. Okay, so it looks like I have homework. Okay, so this is the map. So when you work with train operators, you can have a map. So if I was not only selling websites, which websites are the front door DIY or done for you offer that I offer, right? I am now teaching people based off of my dream, which is to help them create compounding architecture, okay? Mhm. I say things all the time like, this is my thesis, you know. So the next one, the map. This is the map. So we have the map. Where'd it go? No. What? I just downloaded it. Where'd it go? Uh, we gotta find it again real quick. Real quick. Yeah. The map. Always kind of date it. So we got the map. So it's pretty simple. So what we're doing is we're taking essentially what is in the source system and we're compressing it into something smaller into 4 weeks. Here's where we're going. 4 weeks, so you just decide the deliverables, okay? And this is why I charge for done for you services because I'm also doing this type of work. So this is how we want to think. We want to think that the source reveals the intelligence, right? The lab structures it, and the signal to income monetizes it. So the lab is structuring what is inside. So I always take what is inside AI and I put it in a Google Docs, and I'm probably going to have so many Google Docs by the time 2035 comes, and apparently I'm at a really different level. Okay, so the most important decision is do not put the entire book. So if you're writing a book, um, or you have a layer of trained operators, do not feel like you need to sell all of them, but contain them, put them somewhere. Recreate the problem your offer is meant to solve too much intelligence without enough sequence. That is exactly what we are learning how to do. The Signature Framework Lab is a small guided extraction course inside the larger ecosystem. It's not to teach everything you know, it's to help, sorry, an expert leave with one clear framework, one product direction, and one repeatable system for expanding. The source system remains upstream intellectual property operating system. Signal to income remains the downstream monetization and execution system. The lab sits between them as a bridge from knowledge to framework to offer, and this matches the existing stack. Source governs thinking and architecture, while the implementation layer turns clarity into infrastructure and deployment. So this is my ecosystem that I'm building and where the course fits. So right now it's here. We don't have, like, we've already started teaching the source system, but now we are like at this place where we need a lab. And then signal to income is like this big GBT library that is just going to overwhelm everybody. So we don't want to go there. Um, Your own material already defines the larger evolution as digital product and core frameworks. Extract your expertise, what does not belong, the full source system. 6 weeks or 4 weeks, I don't know. We're gonna map it out. Right now, I build websites in 1 to 3 weeks time. So, yeah. So, we're going to run this as a 4 week lab. So, we can do that 4 weeks. So, it doesn't like 4 weeks doesn't have to be like, oh my God, I'm inside it every day. 4 weeks can mean like, I have these videos for you where I'm teaching you and it's interactive. And then once a week I come up and I talk on the calendar and I make sure that everybody's moving and if like they need help. So Monday orientation, one lesson is released Tuesday, operator session, Wednesday build. Notice what I am not doing. I'm building in public and I'm not operating on Instagram with an idea. And therefore, guess what is happening? I'm able to, and even if you don't post YouTube videos that are this long like this, like I am able to process and think through my own thoughts by talking on camera. So that's the power of talking on camera. So I really think it's valuable, even if you don't post it. So we're building the intelligence. So this is what he said. Mine is I help people move from having valuable knowledge in one domain but no clear path to having a signature framework, a sellable offer, and a simple system for delivering it. So create image for week one, extract. So we're going to, it might take a little bit of time, but we're going to anchor the photos. And then when we anchor the photos, we're going to have 4 weeks. So module one is the welcome, and then we're going to have 4 weeks. And once you anchor the photos, it's a little bit easier. If you are a complex thinker like me and you just need to keep making things more simple, it doesn't mean you need to block your clarity. It just means that you need to think from the buyer's perspective and how they're going to feel when they're coming in so they don't get overwhelmed. So this is going to be week one extract. So we're going to do week one extract, and it's going to be expertise is more than information is a good one. It's kind of the underlying value there. Oof. It's always going to overbuild, so we're going to have to keep simplifying things. That's why the more clear your prompts can become, the less we can waste time aimlessly talking to the tools because so much time like is being wasted when we do that. Perfect. So this one is now here. We could even do this, like make it kind of simple. No, let's just leave it the way it was. Okay. All right. So week two, distill. This is important from topic to thesis. All right, so I don't want to tell you everything that's inside it, but I am showing you kind of like how it can be created. Go back here and see what time we're at. Go back to, okay, week two does take a little bit of time. That's why like it costs money to use these tools. Every time we use them. Mm. I mean, there's still going to be depth here that you can't see, but this gives you a core idea of what's going to be happening inside. Week 3, architect. So do the same. And look how much faster this is than using Canva. Even though Canva works, we're not sitting there tweaking every few seconds, worrying about the aesthetics. We're getting to the core of the thought architecture, and that is what we are uncovering. What is the framework or method inside your experience that can be connected to you, and you don't have to copy other people. The next one is translate. So week 4 would be translate. So what I realized too that I forgot is when I first took a course, it was like $3,000 from my mentor a few years ago. She had these like once a week live calls, and her course was structured this way, like week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. So it was very structured, and I thought, oh my gosh, I could never do that. What if, they actually don't learn anything? I realized that I didn't even really attend the calls much, and the calls were there to help me. And now, as being the person on the other side, it doesn't look crazy to price something at 3,000 or 1,000. It really just means like you have somebody that is willing to pay for the time to invest in what is going to allow them to catapult forward. Because what you're really doing is you're paying for thinking and time. And that is what's going to help you shift. So get rid of mm, keep dropping my phone. Okay, perfect. So translate is this one. So I'm probably going to have to go and finish this in part two. We did a lot in one sitting. So Mhm. So will be an optional layer. So this is the key. You want to do that. So. Okay, so we're almost done. And this feels like a real offer. This feels different than um, the framework, like this is me intentionally talking to my audience and taking them with me, teaching them something that I already know how to do. And ironically, by teaching them, I'm able to make money and become more intentional. So I've already had 6 website clients and I have raised the price each time. And now I'm at $9.97 because I want people that want to be up and running fast and they're intentional. They have strong visions and they're intentional. So one operator maybe like per, it does not replace you, it just supports the architect. So yeah, we don't need that little middle layer there. So in 2026, courses are promise one result, teach one decision at a time, use operators to personalize thinking. So meaning if they're connected to you, it's going to be easier. Refine the curriculum from real use. School supports individual course pages, course access controls, direct video uploads, drip scheduling, and live calendars. So you do not need complex external stack for the first version. And what I love about school is like once you have one, then you're communicating with other people in other schools and you're bringing something to the table. And it's also a competition. School is a competition. You win prizes if you get to certain levels and you're able to retain people inside the container. So that is like the biggest reason to school. You can win money, opportunities. It's like having your own business. Okay, so we're going to have to complete this. There's going to be a version 2. Okay, so I'm recording on YouTube now. I want to create another video. Since I cannot invite them into this today, what can I invite them into? But now we're understanding like how I can even take this YouTube video and note this is only from one operator with one intention, with one problem. Okay, so all right, so let's see if it can create that for me. I don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm like really annoyed with this whole creating guide stuff. I don't like to do that. I don't like to create guides. So guide, no. So I want to see if it's gonna create it for us. Oh, this is the problem I had before. So perfect. So now we're getting somewhere, and I just want you to see like there are a lot of layers to this. It's not as easy as it looks. Probably the most frustrating part, but we're almost done. I even think like this is just too many words too. Like there's too many words everywhere. I'm wondering if I actually like can, nope, separate them. No, I can't. All right, we're almost done. I have to charge my computer. Ugh. A lot harder than it looks. Also, while that's happening, I want to show you something. So I have been using like my signal to income to kind of create these like themed like covers for my YouTube and the tool that you'll find in signal to income. So I can honestly come in and probably use one of them. That's the thing. Or even use one of them as a guide. So now we got this one. We're gonna go here. We're gonna go to sections, media, add. So this one, go to custom, accept. Okay, so now we got a little guide here. And this is our starter guide, which is going to lead into the school. Okay, so now it's recreating it perfect based on what we have here. And it's going to teach people how to discover like what's hidden inside their experience. I think that's a really good one. A lot of people want to know like, oh, what is hidden inside my experience? So I know this part takes a little bit longer, but I do this because it looks nicer and it's going to be ranked by, well, we can't add okay, we'll just say that. Okay, download your guide for reviews. Like people can add reviews if you have that part connected. Okay, so now it's done. We're gonna go here, download all of them. Okay, so now they have the guide. And let's open the guide first to make sure it looks okay. Okay, so we don't want it to be PDF. We want it to be, so it's July. don't know what's wrong with that one, so we're gonna try it again. So it won't let me download it as PDF. Great. So we're gonna do something stupid. So it's quite possible that it might just even be easier for you to just there you go. So one, oops, two. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, 8. So we're gonna do this. We want it to be PDF so they can download it like a guide. So this is the first time I use Canva AI, so forgive me, I've never used it before. I didn't know how that was gonna work. We're gonna upload the file here. Want it to be a PDF. If I'm really crazy, I could even change this photo so it matches the guide, but we're not gonna do that. And now we're just gonna send it. And we're going to copy this link here. And we're going to say, create YouTube video description based off of what we did today. Link for the guide. For the community. Mm. This is the part where it's telling me like where we're truly at. Okay, so this is a potential YouTube video off of everything that we've done today, naming the problem. So create the wait list. Okay, thank you for watching.